Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Today, we're doing a very special book review. And it's special because I've been putting this book off for 10-ish years. I didn't have a physical copy for 10 years, but for 10 years, I've been telling myself on and off I was going to read this book. And I read it. So let's talk about it. Okay, so what is this book about? The Salt Eaters. This book is set in the South during a time of political and social turmoil. We follow our main character, Velma, as she is seeking healing in all sense of the word. Okay, we're talking about physical, spiritual, emotional healing from her past, community healing. Okay, that's what this book is talking about. And even though there's a strong theme of healing, it is a social and political criticism as well during the time of, and capitalist, I think, criticism during a time of unrest, So the main character, Velma, she is trying to be healed. So let me see if this is a spoiler before I tell it. She does something happens that she ends up in a hospital. And so traditional medicine is not working for her. Traditional doctors are not working for her. So they bring in a spiritual healer. Okay. They bring in a spiritual healer, and the spiritual healer has a spirit guide. And these two are like going back and forth trying to figure out ways to heal Velma. Okay. Yeah, so Minnie Ransom and her spirit guide, whose name is Old Wife, they are, trying to figure out how to heal Velma. And it's a lot of like internal monologues. It's a lot of dialogues back and forth. This book is written in a very much of a stream of consciousness writing style from multiple narrators. It doesn't really tell you how or when narrators are changing. You just kind of got to go with the flow. But you get this idea of this event that happened, and multiple people are kind of giving their 2 cents about it. It talks about like how the community around them is changing based on businesses coming in, corporations, and you just get, it's almost like two stories in one. However, this is one of the books where I found myself focusing less on the plot and more on the writing and more on the like feelings that it brings up between Velma and Old Wife and Minnie Ransom and the other people in the community. I found myself focusing more on the commentary and the beautiful prose than I was the plot. I'm so glad I read this. And I'm actually glad I read this when I did. I know I said I've been putting this book off for 10 years. I have. But this was the perfect time for me to read it, because I feel like if I would have read it 10 years ago, I would have still read it again, like in my 30s at some point, just because I feel like I found myself thinking a lot about healing and a lot about like bags that we carry and holding on to the past and what should be held on and what shouldn't be held on to. I found myself thinking about where I fall in my community, in a social context. Found myself thinking about a whole lot of stuff that I don't necessarily think I would have really been thinking about when I was 20. I might have, but I just don't feel like I would have been that invested then. And also, the same thing I say about almost all of Toni Morrison books. This is a very active read. It is challenging at times, but super rewarding, just like with Toni Morrison. This is a book you really gotta like. I had to block out the noise because at first I was reading this at like a kid's baseball game. And I was like, it's too much going on. Like, I need to be focused. So I was reading this like at night when it was quiet in the morning, because I felt like I was getting like just lost in the sauce sometimes when there was a whole lot of noise going on around me. So I had to read this when I was by myself. Doesn't mean you would have to do it, but I had to go back and reread some paragraphs at times. I had to go back and ask myself, okay, who's talking? Oh, okay. And they keep going. So for me, it was a very active read, very interactive. It requires the reader to bring something to the text, which I appreciated. I liked it. I like the idea of healing being mentioned in all sense of the word: spiritual healing, emotional, mental, physical, and the introduction of like, I don't see many books that have like, that's a political and social critique, but also talks about like spirituality in the way that this book did. It was great how they were woven together. And I thought it was a really good read. You know, I have her other book. Okay, wait, let me go back. This is her first full length novel, but I have her first book that's a poetry collection, I believe, back there, Gorilla My Love, and I'm gonna read it. Not next, because I got some other stuff I gotta read for like a book club, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed the experience of reading it. Like I said, it was like an interactive text. Um, yeah, like this is how it starts off and it sets the tone. Are you sure, sweetheart, that you want to be well? Yeah, yeah. Are you sure that you want to be well? And then a couple more quotes that I kind of jotted down because I was like, that's good. Take away the miseries and you take away some folks' reason for living. Their conversation piece, anyway. Here's another one. So used to being unwhole and unwell, one forgot what it was to walk upright and see clearly, breathe easily, think better than was taught, be better than one was programmed to believe. But yeah, I like books that have multiple narrators when it's done well. It's easy to not do that well, but you get to see like different people's perspective from Velma trying to be healed. And I just thought like we all have stuff that we like carry with us, stuff that we like, that I can't say we all. There are things that you want to hold, like hurts and grief and pain that you want to hold on to. And it's not, I don't even know how to say this. Like, it almost feels like it's a part of you. So you don't want to get rid of it. Like, you don't want to fully heal from certain things. Not everybody, I'm talking about me, because it's become a part of your identity. It's become something that's like a part of you that to lose it, you would lose a certain part of you. And in a way, that's grief. That's a grief that you would have to like undergo as well. You'll be grieving losing the part of you that you held on to for so long, even if it was painful and traumatic, and grief itself. And so you just kind of think about like stuff like that, and she like, do you want to be well? Do you want to be well? Like, do you really want to be well? And then it made me think you have an active role in your healing as well. So yes, Velma was trying to be healed by traditional medicine and she was trying to be healed by a spiritual healer. But she had an active role too, where she had to want to be well. And it just made me think about like healing in general and how that looks in my life. So yeah, very, very good book. I don't even know what my notebook is. I have a tiny little notebook where I was just jotting down my thoughts that this made me bring up stuff that I thought about. And I love books like this where I like it brings stuff up for me to like journal as I'm writing it. So it did take me a bit to get through this because again, I'm journaling as I'm reading it. I'm writing stuff down that like comes to the forefront of my mind. I'm highlighting like really powerful comments and statements and like paragraphs. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's a whole lot going on in this book though. You just kind of gotta go with the flow. Like I said, I was a little less focused on the plot and more focused just on everything else. And that's the way I read it. I don't know how y'all gonna read it when you read it. If you've read this, what do you think? Because it's one of those books that to me, it made me look at myself. It made me look at what I carry with me. It made me look at like where I fit in my community. It made me look at the political landscape and like social landscape and think about like how things could be better. And just so much stuff, how spirituality plays a role in community, you know? So it just made me think about all type of stuff. And again, the active role in your own healing, the active role in healing a community at large. So yes, this book is focused on healing Velma, but then it pans out and we focused on the healing of a community, the healing of a nation almost. And so you get to see it on this small micro scale, one person, individual, and then you get to see it like a little bit bigger, the people in the room that might be helping with the healing or in some way related to the healing. Then you get to see a little bit bigger and you get to see, oh, this is like the neighborhood or the workspace it is. And then you get to see bigger. And so it starts off small and then you just get to see this expanded view of what's broken and needs to be healed and what that takes. It takes you losing something. It's taking you losing something to be able to heal what needs to be healed. And do you want that? Are you ready for that? So yeah. I enjoyed it. I'm always recommend this, but let me tell y'all, it's an active read. Active. So if you need to go back, not everybody got to do this. I'm only speaking for me. If you are like me and you've been reading for a couple pages and you like, wait, what did I just read? And then you got to go back and like, oh, Cecile is talking. Just do that. Ain't no shame. Ain't no shame. But yeah, that's it, y'all. The Salt Eaters. Let me know if you read it, what you think. I finally read it. Finally read it. Yeah. Oh, last thing I want to bring up. The spiritual leader. It also, I'm glad that it showed the I guess downside of being a spiritual leader, because I've read a few books that have a spiritual leader and they're like this exalted person because they have the ability to like commune with saints and they got the ability to do this and do that. And so they're like, above y'all, like they up there. This book shows the struggles that Minnie went through as well as a spiritual leader. Yes, she has the ability to do these supernatural things, but what that comes with, how it has some negative side effects and like the downside of that and what is costing Minnie as well. So yeah, good book. Good book. I'm glad I read it, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one.